Hello everyone, Armand from Edinburgh here, your proposal, elopement, engagement photographer. Recording another video on beautiful, glorious day in Edinburgh, 1st of April. No, this is not a fool's jokes today. I probably supposed to record this video many years ago. But you know, now I have loads of experience, over 10 years doing this. So now I can probably, talk from the experience a lot, how things are done. So this video today is gonna be, I think on my list I have 7 tips. There might be a little bit more tips about proposals. From the planning stage, from buying your ring, about the locations, about finding photographer, and things like that. So I just thought I was gonna write out, have a little list with me, and I thought, okay, let's just see what I can compile basically, and how can I help you with all this proposal planning. I'll try to be as quick as possible, run through this so it doesn't become like an hour video or something. So first thing I have on my list, don't overthink. I have talked about a little bit about this in my intro video on proposal page, where guys really stress and overthink this and just go in total overload about all this proposal thing. I always say, look, it's a simple thing. Pick a spot, do the proposal, get on your knee, that's it. Hopefully these tips today will gonna help you too. There is no need to have WhatsApp calls, planning sessions, and over the phone and things like that. It's a very simple process, guys. I know it's really special to you and you're nervous and all that. I did that myself, so I know what that means. But I always say, look, just chill. Don't overthink. Try to simplify as much as possible your proposal. I'll be talking about various points here today, and I hope those are gonna help you kind of like, in a planning process, thinking process, and also on the day. So yes, number one, don't overthink, just keep things simple. Less things can go wrong, better is for you. When you plan these massive things, you just don't know weather, location, I don't know, something happens and you can't do what you want to do anymore, and you'll be even in more stress about it. So yes, don't overthink, number one. Number two, ring. So probably not super important thing, but from my 10 years experience, I have noticed a couple of things. So the guys who buy ring and they ask in a shop if they can have a pouch, not a box. Well, they would buy the ring in a box, but they also ask for a pouch. So many shops give a little pouch to put the ring in. Why this is important, box or pouch? You're probably already guessing. It's because of how you're gonna hide your ring, where you're gonna put it. So you need to kind of like think about, okay, if I have a box, how big is the box? You'll see it in a shop. How big is the box? So am I able to hide the ring, so she can't see it? When I travel to Edinburgh, for example, on the morning of the proposal, will I be able to hide the ring? So you need to kind of like think about pouch is really very easy to hide. You can slip it in your pocket, in your whatever jacket's inside pocket, something like that. So she's not going to be really able to notice it. Box is a big clunky box, so you need to probably bring a bag, a little backpack or something with you, where to put the ring in. So, and also you need to fetch it out when the moment comes. Might be a little bit tricky, but obviously it's nicer when you have a box, when you get on your knee and you open a box, it is nicer. But I don't mind when guys just pull out the ring from a pouch, and they would just be like, okay, here is a ring, still looks good, and very easy and straightforward process. So consider a little bit, should I have just in case a pouch with me if I can't really hide the ring on a day. So that's number two. Number three, I hope the wind is not really disturbing all this talk. Wind is picking up a little bit, but anyway, let's keep going. Number three, location. Right, I have quite few location guides on my blog. I have in-depth guides on my blog in specific locations like Carlton here, where I walk around, talk about it, etc, etc. But, you know, do a little bit research on locations. There are plenty of guides, photos, videos out there for you to see different spots where you could propose. And obviously I'll be sending you some of my own guides for you to look through. So I have like a guide for more quiet spots, less known. Then I have a guide for more well-known spots. And again, it just depends on the time of the year, time of the day, how busy these spots are, you know, and things like that. But do a little bit research on your spots. Now, why I'm mentioning actually locations, here and there I get like requests from guys who never been in Scotland, and they just go like, okay, could I for example go to Loch Lomond or whatever, Glencoe, you know, Highlands somewhere. And I always ask, you know, why are you picking this spot? Is there any meaning to you to this specific locations? And 99% of guys would say no, I've never been here, just seen some photos on somewhere on websites or what, and I have to explain, look, you know, number one, you need to consider where I am. So all of the, like Glencoe, it's 4-hour drive. Loch Lomond is like an 1.5-hour drive. So that's one. Second thing you would need to think about, okay, you know, if you have no attachment to this location, probably I have also not photographed in this location before, so I can't really just nip out, go and see the place and come back and plan your proposal. I mean, technically I could, but I don't know who would be paying basically for that. So you know, as great as all this sounds, yes, I can do you know, proposals in these locations, but you need to consider what the weather is going to be on that day. The weather is whatever, rainy, windy, stormy, you have to do it. We are there, there is no back out basically. So whatever forecast is saying in Highlands, I probably would not trust much that, so you just never know, so you have to do it. Obviously the third thing would be, you'll need to pay extra for that, you know, a lot more extra, because Glencoe, for example, that's for me like a whole day trip back and forward. So for 40-minute proposal, I mean, depends how special this is for you and how much you want to cash out basically for this. For me, it doesn't matter, can't do it, I've done it, but yes, you need to consider kind of like all these costs, the distance, how you're gonna be getting there, you know, where is gonna be this spot, do you have any idea where this spot is gonna be, you know, etc, etc. So yeah, so that's in terms of the location for you. Again, in Edinburgh, plenty of locations you have, you know, you have here, you know, you have Arthur Seat next to me, you have a beach options, you have a city center. There's like plenty of options what you could do basically here. Depends how, you know, what you're looking from this. So yes, that's basically, is that number 3? I think that's number 3, location. So this will be number 4. Let's talk about actually choosing photographer. So, you know, you have planned you have idea on your location, you have your ring, things are getting really sorted in a gear now. Now you need to find a photographer. Obviously, you know, you have your Google, go and research, you know, make sure you like, obviously, you like their work. Have a look also, what I have written here, if the photographer actually have photographed before in your location. I had a situation last year when somebody really wanted to do it in one of the local castles. I have never been in there before, at Craigmillar Castle. I actually made a blog post about that too. And they said, look, I really want to do it there. I said, okay, I have never been there before, but it's close enough for me to go and have a look around. So in certain circumstances, I would just go to the location and research if I haven't done it before. And it's great for me too, because I can add it more to my, you know, location list on, you know, where I have photographed before and how it basically looks like, and it helps you too. So you also need to consider if you know, if photographer actually can help you, you know, do they have any guides, you know, how much experience they have with this, you know, have a look, how they have done proposals before. So have a little kind of like, you know, deeper research. Have a look at reviews as well. Reviews tell, you know, normally can tell quite a good story, you know, what you need to know. Obviously research all the finance side of the things, you know, how much the things are going to cost, what's included. If you look on my website, it's pretty straightforward. There's no really any crazy magic happening there. Is very straightforward process basically. So yes, so kind of, you know, maybe chat, you know, send a few questions, see how they reply. Also have a look, ask them how flexible they can be. For example, in my case, whenever someone books a proposal with me, I give them a little bit of flexibility. They say, for example, we are here for 4 days, and we normally look on the weather in Edinburgh, which days will be basically the best and times when is the best to do it. So I give a little bit of leeway for for guys, kind of like, okay, you know, to play about depending on what the weather is like. So ask the photographers, you know, how fixed they are on that time. If the weather is not the best, you know, what is the plan? You know, can we push it, you know, further into the day, or do it later, maybe early in the morning or later in the evening, etc., etc. So it's kind of like how flexible they are. So these are kind of like a basic key points in terms of the, you know, choosing your photographer. So let's go to next point here. Now this one is a little bit funny. So we're going to talk about the clothing, and specifically about her clothing. So 80% of girls generally know what's going to happen. Like they pretty much always say, I knew it, you're going to do it, basically. However, they are still not quite, you know, prepared for this. They think they know, but anyway, let's talk about a little bit about the clothing. How could you tell her without her noticing, you know, figuring out, you know, dress nicely basically for this. Now, if you are quite adventurous type, you know, if you're an adventurous type and, you know, you generally always wear casual clothing, no problem for you. That's absolutely fine. However, here and there I do get guys, you know, who want the girls to wear, you know, something nice, something decent, smart casual, rather than jeans and t-shirts basically. So what I have heard, and I'll tell you what I have heard and what worked. So number one, the guy tells girl this will be a private tour with a nice lunch or dinner depending on the day after. So the girl normally will go, okay, dress nicely. So, you know, you're not gonna say probably, you know, openly dress nicely, but you explaining her what this is, and hopefully she gets an idea. So another thing I have in the past I have heard was the guy, was it? Yeah, it was a special lunch basically. So they have booked a lunch in a very special place. So they book a taxi and they arrive to that location, wherever that location is. And yes, and normally the guy and the girl are dressed, you know, nice, smart, casual. I had somebody actually in the evening gown too, and that was quite funny when she came out. She's like, what's happening here? But yeah, so there are kind of like a subtle ways to, you know, to explain what you're gonna do that might give away what you're actually planning to do, but it's something for you to think about. I know some guys are a bit like, you know, worried about that, but you know what, in my experience, it doesn't matter, you know. It's just, you know, it's about moment. Sorry. It's about moment. It's about moment. How you're gonna both enjoy this, and you know how this is gonna basically happen, rather than you know, like we need to be all fancy pantsy, me in a suit, her in a nice dress, and you know, and all this I would say this is probably part of your overthinking, could be, but I'm just making a little tip here just in case if you are thinking, you know, to have something like that done. So maybe something for you to think about if the clothing is quite important to you. Same goes, you know, winter time, can't do much about that. You will gonna have that jacket, you will gonna have that hat, scarf, whatever. Can't do much, you know. Fine, just basically do the proposal. It's okay. Summertime, this is where the guys get a little bit more, you know, in a thinking mode that this should be all this perfectly looking, whatever. So but yes, there are few things you can come up with, you know, especially if you go to Carlton Hill, special lunch, you know, private tour, etc., etc. And I have heard these before, and looks like they have worked as well. So yes, so that's kind of like a let me see if I written anything down on my clothing. Yeah, so yeah, that's basically it, that's it. So yeah, so let's move to the next point. I think when I'm walking, the camera might be jiggling too much. I'm just like walking on a open field and it's all like bumpy and all that. Anyway, so next point is, I don't know, whatever, 6 I think that is. Now, what you're bringing with you. Again, one thing which is quite hard probably to explain, girl, you know, don't bring your big backpack with you. we don't need it. It's going to be in the photos and it's probably not going to look the best. Generally, it's not a problem, but I have noticed sometimes girls do come out with a massive, you know, handbags and all that. So, I mean, it's very hard to say, you know, don't bring that with you. However, you know, if that's a private tour, you know, we might be walking a fair bit. Maybe, you know, you can suggest to bring a smaller bag or something. And for yourself, I would say you can bring a larger backpack with you, not like a super large, but you know, something where you could put the stuff in when we are taking actual photos after proposal. So for example, you can put your phones in, you can put your all things what you have on you in that one bag. I can carry it around on my back, so you can, you know, it's kind of like compact, all puts away, so you don't need to every time put a bag somewhere on the ground. Then you're worried, you know, if somebody is going to grab it or whatnot. So, you know, consider what you're bringing with you. Also, if you have that backpack, you know, consider how you're gonna hide it in actual proposal photos. So normally guys take it off, take the quietly, ring out, you know, she can't notice, she's looking somewhere away, and putting basically bag somewhere down, and that's it, and just kind of like do the thing. So next point is going to be about how actually, you know, tips on actual proposal moment. But yeah, so kind of have a little consideration what you're bringing with you. If you're bringing, you know, let's say you're planning to take some, I don't know, the jacket or coat off, and where are you gonna put that? Again, consider maybe, can you put that in your bag basically, so you don't need to put it down everywhere, or you know, or just simply just dress lighter than normal. So yes, that's kind of like a little bit, you know, on what to bring. Right, let's move to the next point on actual proposal. Right, let's hope this works. Looks like it's working. Basically, I'm gonna show you a little bit few tips on actual proposal moment. You know, imagine you're me, you're the photographer. So this is basically what you see. So a couple of things to note. If you want to make sure that both of you are well seen, don't stand with the back to me and then go down on one knee. Number one, you're gonna see back of your head. In my case, not the best spot you want to see basically in the photos. You will see, however, her reaction, but I'm gonna see also back of your head. So maybe if you know, okay, I'm standing somewhere there, you know, try to get on your knee in a parallel to the camera. So basically she's here, you're doing the thing, everything is basically well visible. and then you have, you know, whatever view you have chosen a location. For example, on the Calton Hill, that's your city view in the background. I'll do my best to work around you after that to tweak that basically, to tweak that angle. You know, don't overthink, but, you know, consider if I'm standing there, try to go this way, you know, a little bit this way. Also, you know, consider where you're standing. Normally, when you arrive on location, I will be standing in a spot. I'll be standing in a spot where I want you to propose. So I'll wait there, I'll stand there, you're approaching, you're coming closer, and I'll move out and I'll let you to step in that spot. So that's kind of, over the years I have worked out the system, and it seems like it's working basically. So yes, but consider your angle. Also consider in terms of where is the spot, if there is no near, for example, bins, some overgrown bushes or something which basically block the view, you know, things like that. I've seen some situations, guys, and really stressed, they just get down on the knee right next to the bin or something, and it's like, oh man, there's not much basically I can do in that situation. So kind of like, you know, have a look around. But generally, when you're gonna arrive to the location, I'll be there already, I'll be standing there, and it's like, right, okay, you know, and I'll clock you pretty early on when you arrive. So I'll be like, okay, where are they? Okay, they are over there, and I just stay. We make an eye contact. I might know, depends if she's looking or not. I would be like, okay, you know, come in, you know, kind of like thing, and you just come in and do your thing basically there. So that's kind of like in terms of that. Now, one more thing, I don't know, in my tips list, let's have a look what's the next one, if I'm mentioning that after or not. No, I'm not. So let's talk about all of the process actually on the day. So from the in a planning process, I'll be giving you my WhatsApp number. So this means when you're in UK, we can really contact on the go, you know, communicate on the go. On the morning of the proposal, I normally ask you to send me the photo of exactly what you're wearing, so I can look out and find you very easily. Whatever the colors and, you know, and stuff like that. Second thing, like you said, like I mentioned before, when you arrive to the spot, I'm already there. I'm generally, you know, in a spot at least 10-15 minutes before you. If I'm, you know, late, I'll be, sorry, water break. I'll be letting you know, look, I'm running a little bit behind. You know, just wander around the location. Once I come in the location, most likely I'll spot you pretty early, you know, early on. It's like, okay, right, they are over there. Now we're just gonna rush and go to the spot. You don't need to worry too much. You know, some guys say, oh, do I need to stop? Do I need to give you a nod when I'm ready? Normally, if I'm there basically. As long as you see that I see you, you know, that, you know, I'm somewhere nearby. Just do what you need to do. Don't worry about too much about me. Also, big, you know, advice for you is don't drag this out. You know, some guys arrive to the location and they're standing around. I don't know, whatever they are doing. Some tourists come into the spot. You need to drag it out further. Like, it really delays basically what you what you're planning to do, and also it creates more, I wouldn't say stress for me, but I can tell you for sure the girl is noticing me at this point already. She sees, is a guy, is a camera. I mean, he's not pointing at us, you know, I'm always very discreet and pointing away, but, you know, there's been situations where, you know, the guy stands there literally like 10-15 minutes and it's just getting awkwardly long basically, and tourists coming in and out, and the guy just loses the moment, and someone is again right next to him. You know, if you walk in, there is a moment, just do it basically. If there is, you know, a couple people standing, you know, a couple meters from you, don't worry, I'll crop them out, I'll zoom in, it'll be all fine, don't worry. So yeah, so I think that's, yeah, what I wanted to mention in terms of the location. Yeah, kind of like in terms of what's happening in actual proposal moment. If anything, I'm gonna write in a blog if I missed out something. I think that was 8 tips, yeah, something like that. So this is gonna be like just a maybe one or two smaller ones. I'm sure I have forgotten something to mention, so I'll be writing a blog post. So have a look at the list in the blog post too. If I have missed anything, I'll be writing that there and adding on anything, you know, in the future. Now, a small thing. So one more thing, what I normally do for guys is I do a recording. I have exactly this camera, what I'm recording on now, 360 camera on my camera normally, and I do a little recording of actual proposal. A nice little, you know, touch for someone to have actual, you know, recording. So don't try during the proposal to approach me, to give me your phone, you know, and say, hey, can you take a photo? And then I need to balance your phone and my camera in each hand. I have done that before. It's quite hard to do it, basically. I mean, it's possible, but I would say, you know, avoid trying to do that. So it's, you know, don't approach me. I have a camera already on my camera, and you know, it's just gonna do a little recording for you. Now, in terms of another little thing is, during the proposal, I do take some photos on your phone as well. So you go maybe pick a spot and take just few of your photos if you want quickly to send something to your parents. You know, it's quick and delivered, and it's all basically good. Now, what I did not mention in the video is what happens after the proposal. So I normally say have a think how you're going to celebrate this. You know, are you going for a, you know, special lunch, a drink, you know, what you're doing basically after that. So I'm probably going to have on the blog post a little kind of recommendations list. I say, you know, in Edinburgh, go to Dome, very nice place to have a drink basically, or light lunch if they have availability. Pretty busy always. But if you know roughly, you know, what time will be done, proposal takes around an hour and a half, I would say, with all photos and getting there and all that. So if you know roughly the time, you could book basically, you know, a drink or a lunch. You know, lunch you could go to, if you're proposing a Balmoral. It depends where you're proposing, obviously. But if it's in Edinburgh, it's a Carlton Hill, you know, you could go to the Balmoral to have a nice, you know, afternoon tea. So it's, you know, it's a beautiful place, very special again. So there are various places, obviously depends all on you and, you know, how you are, you know, whatever fits you basically, and a budget, etc, etc. So yeah, so have a think what you're gonna do after the proposal. Now, in terms of from my side, delivery, so generally delivery happens within a few days. Everything is, you know, digital. You can download. I send you a link, you download your photos, I ask you to back them up. These are your printable photos, so it's all good to go. Sometimes I design, you know, I design like albums. I can produce something for a wall if you want. So I can ship anywhere in the world basically. Well, the production company can. So yeah, so again, something to consider if you want to kind of like, you know, preserve these memories. It's quite nice, you know, as a gift as well, something like that. But yeah, that's, you know, I think that's pretty much all. I think, oh, wind is coming down as well. So I have finished my walking here. If there is anything else, I'll be adding to my blog post. But yeah, if you're planning your own proposal in Edinburgh or around Edinburgh, get in touch. You know, let me know your plans, the date, and we just basically go from there. Explore my blog, plenty of my blog. You can check locations, you can check my website, pricing, everything is there. Everything is very transparent. There is nothing to hide basically. So yeah, anyway, it was lovely to record this. I enjoyed this day, and hopefully you have a great day too. Thank you. Bye bye.